The story starts amidst a violent storm as pirates attack. Taroan gunshots echo out while invaders board a trading vessel. Captain Bowden quickly orders his men to destroy the ship's logbook, but although he claims they are just humble fishermen, and the pirates ruthlessly slaughter the crew and throw them overboard. After the massacre, a terrifying leader named Captain Connor arrives, and he asks Bowden about a stolen piece of gold. Connor demands to know who handed Bowden the marked coin, and so when the quartermaster reveals the ship came from Cayman Brac, the pirate captain orders his crew to set a route there. Meanwhile, on bright shores, townspeople gather near a church bell to where a pastor offers a prayer for the safety of the fast shore. Later, a young man named Weston quietly sneaks into a room and he urges a woman named Elizabeth to escape with him, and they share a private moment until they hear someone coming close. And so Weston quickly hides just before a goat wanders inside, and Elizabeth's sister-in-law, Ursel, enters and finds the coconut sweets ruined. Ew. While in another room, she helps her son Isaac with leg braces, and Ursel gently reassures him despite 59 days passing without news. Back in the hiding spot, Weston finalizes plans to meet Elizabeth, and when Elizabeth finally opens the door, Ursel scolds her for neglecting duties, yet Elizabeth expresses her desperate desire to leave their tiny island home. And the conversation turns bitter as Ursel makes a cruel remark regarding her husband. Isaac prays for his father's safe return during a quiet evening, but Ursel senses his worry and offers a distraction to comfort him. She reveals a hidden gift left behind by his father, and although Isaac is eager to play with the mysterious object, Ursel strictly warns him that the item is definitely not a toy. The next morning, strange noises outside disturb the peaceful silence, prompting Ursel to check Elizabeth's room only to find it empty. Realizing danger is approaching, she hears whispering voices just outside the house. She rushes to wake Isaac and urges him to move quickly, guiding him toward a secret hiding spot beneath the floorboards. While a pirate named Chen taunts her from the front porch, Ursel ensures her son is safely concealed before facing the intruders. She pleads through the door that they are a peaceful family, but the men ignore her cries and violently force their way inside. A pirate named Lupe attacks her, but she manages to strike back, causing the men to mock their comrade for getting hurt by a woman. Chen orders his men to secure the room while Ursel struggles, and their leader, Scout, demands to know where the household money is kept. Ursel directs them to a hiding spot behind a framed portrait, but Scout becomes furious when he finds only loose coins inside. The pirates ransack the home, destroying property in their search for gold, while Ursel fights fiercely, managing to injure Lupe in the eye. However, the mood shifts when Scout discovers a specific mysterious object. He holds up the artifact and demands to know where the rest is, but when Ursel feigns ignorance, he orders his men to hurt her. Scout whistles casually as he exits the house, leaving his men behind. Meanwhile, the town bustles with activity as neighbors go about their day, and a local named Cousteau cheerfully greets Pastor Bradley on the street. The confrontation begins when the custody over the emancipated colony requesting the rank and allegiance of the man standing before him. Captain Connor replies with a chilling metaphor about hurricanes destroying paradise, presenting himself as a humble brother of the sea, offering shelter, though his true intent is far more sinister. While the pirate crew rhythmically heave their oars to approach the shore, terror spreads among the townspeople as Elizabeth screams at the incoming threat and the harbor master shouts warnings to the confused crowd. Locals frantically herd women and children into the safety of the church. While the customode recognizes Connor as a wanted warhound of the British Empire, the pirate captain coolly states he has come to settle a debt regarding Mrs. Bowden. But when the official refuses to hand over the woman to an armed regiment, Connor feigns regret before signaling his men to escalate the violence. Defenders prepare a heavy weapon known as the Bulldog, yet Connor ignores the warning orders to stop his rowing boats. With a cold command, the pirate captain orders his sniper to fire, striking the defender down and shattering the peace of the island. Meanwhile, intruders corner Ursel in her home, laughing as they inspect their prize, prompting her to desperately ask if her husband is still alive. The attackers ignore her pleas and hoist her into the air by a rope, but the sight of her son Isaac hiding nearby fuels her rage. Ursel suddenly unleashes a skilled counterattack, shocking the pirates by speaking their language, and engages in a brutal hand-to-hand brawl to protect her child. She incapacitates the female attacker, Lupe, with ferocious strikes, while the male pirate, Chien, struggles to subdue her. As the brawl intensifies, Chien shouts commands in Chichewa, but Ursel fights with the ferocity of a mother cornered. Outside, the battle rages as the customode commands his men to light the bulldog cannon, exchanging heavy gunfire with the invading pirate force. Back in the house, the confrontation reaches a bloody climax when Ursel gains the upper hand against the remaining pirate. She pins the invader to the floor, screaming for the location of her husband, and finishes the fight with a primal scream of vengeance. As the chaos outside continues, pirates drag their captives onto the beach, securing the area with ruthless efficiency. Yen, when one prisoner named Customode tries to resist, he is quickly overpowered. Captain Connor steps forward to inspect his prison, demanding to know the location of the island's distress signal, although the locals try to hide in the church nearby. Customode breaks and reveals the signal pyre is atop the bluff. Satisfied with this information, Connor coldly condemns the man to death, and a sudden cannon blast executes him in front of the horrified crowd. Meanwhile, the quartermaster receives news that Ursel has been subdued, but inside her home, she is actually recovering and comforting her terrified son. She instructs Isaac to pack rations for an immediate escape, but gets interrupted when Pastor Bradley rushes in, startling the vigilant mother. He warns her about the heavily armed men swarming the town and fearfully suggests that their leader is a figure from Ursel's hidden past. Yet when he calls her captain and pleads for her help, she rejects the title, but reacts when told Lizzie ran off, and Ursel orders the group to head toward the mangroves. After arming the hesitant pastor with a flintlock, she slips away to track down her missing family member, and navigating through the bush to avoid the pirate patrols, she eventually locates Lizzie hiding in the undergrowth, who collapses into her arms, sobbing about Customode's murder. Elizabeth breaks down in tears over Weston's sudden death, but Ursel urges her to run toward the mangroves. Elsewhere, the quartermaster warns his men not to underestimate Ursel, ordering them to shoot anyone found traveling with her. Deep in the woods, Pastor Bradley waits by a marked tree, but when Ursel hears machetes nearby, she readies her weapon. The group holds their breath as the pirates draw closer, eventually reaching a narrow creek that the pastor fears. They proceed to carefully carry young Isaac across the water, and Elizabeth strains to pull the boat through the muck. Ursel spots danger ahead and demands they keep eyes forward, so the pastor stays behind to surrender. And by time Captain Connor approaches and recognizes him as Blackheart Bradley, demanding to know exactly where Ursel has taken the boy. When the pastor refuses to talk, Connor shoots him in the gut. Ursel is spotted hiding in the trees moments later, forcing the pirates to chase her into the dangerous river. Suddenly, the men in the water begin screaming in agony, and as their panic intensifies, Ursel flees into the bush. She ambushes a lone scout who follows her on land, fighting him off brutally to protect her family's escape. Ursel finishes off the last attacker in the swamp, but Connor calls out to end the jungle skirmish, shouting her notorious pirate name to the wind. He taunts her, asking if her son knows the truth, and demands she surrender to make restitution for her sins. Instead of attacking, he offers a trade for Captain Bowden's life, instructing her to bring the stolen gold to the cottage. Ursel screams her agreement to the terms, then leads her confused family toward a safe harbor. They arrive at a hidden entrance near the crashing waves, where Elizabeth stares in shock at a concealed vessel. Ursel guides them deeper into the secret lair, and Elizabeth questions the origins of such a hideout. The matriarch explains their enemy is the ruthless Francisco Connor, while elsewhere the pirates complain about the difficulty of the mission. One mercenary recounts how Ursel once stabbed Connor and vanished, confirming the dark history she now shares with Elizabeth. She admits she had to become someone else to survive, and confirms that her husband always knew about her past. On the enemy ship, the quartermaster taunts the captured Bowden, while back in the cave, Elizabeth finds the buried gold, realizes her husband kept the treasure despite the danger, and she tells Elizabeth this criminal loot is their salvation. Meanwhile, the quartermaster questions Connor's mental state for the mission, but the captain insists the gold is just a means to freedom. Careful. Ursel instructs Elizabeth to prepare the ship's sails and warns her family not to touch her belongings. Meanwhile, Connor dismisses his aggressive crew member Scout and asks Bowden how many men Ursel has slain. He recounts how she brutally slaughtered 3 of his sailors. Connor claims they were once intimate partners, but Bowden refuses to believe believe these twisted lies. Back in the cave, Elizabeth ignores the warning and discovers a logbook detailing Ursel's global piracy. An older pirate senses death approaching in the air, just as Ursel silently eliminates a guard with her blade. She snaps another pirate's neck in the shadows, while the crew signal each other with nervous whistles. The confused men hear footsteps moving above them, and Ursel cuts down another guard during her approach. Finally, she enters the room and reunites with Bodin, assuring him that the children are hidden safely away. The quartermaster orders his men to search every bush, while Bodin reveals that Connor possesses the only key. He forgives her past, declaring his undying love. Realizing escape is impossible, they decide to make the trade. Suddenly, the quartermaster announces they are completely surrounded. Ursel steps out to confront her former crewmate, Mr. Lee. Provos concedes, we all fall down. Connor mocks Ursel, reminding her of the servitude he saved her from. He claims to know every detail of her former identity, and his men drag Captain Bodin forward to use as leverage. Aemon, the warlord, mockingly bids him farewell, and he then taunts the captive with gold for his crew's widows, and Ursel insists she merely took what she was owed. But Connor recounts how he raised her from nothing. She retorts that she aimed for his heart, and so he decides to punish her by targeting the boy. Explosions rock the cave, throwing the combatants into disarray. Ursel sees the danger and begs for a ceasefire, offering her own life to spare Bodin. However, Connor ruthlessly stabs the helpless captive to teach her a lesson. Ursel screams in agony as her lover collapses, and he whispers that he is still there with her. The pirate captain refuses to let her mourn in peace, and so she attacks him in a blind rage, demanding to know why he couldn't just take the treasure. Connor reveals he only cares about the bounty on her head. A sudden blast forces the pirates to retreat, and Ursel uses the chaos to flee from the scene. And in the present, Elizabeth reads a diary entry detailing this escape. Bahar flashbacks show the wounded woman washing ashore on a new island to where she vowed to forge a different life for herself. Dishes asks if Elizabeth can read the mysterious text. And back in the past, the quartermaster furiously confronts Connor, shouting that their mission for the gold has been ruined. He refuses to waste more lives on Connor's personal vendetta. Connor dismisses the man's concerns as a lack of perspective, and the subordinate declares the campaign over and threatens to take command. Connor calmly asks if this defiance constitutes a mutiny, and when the crew hesitates to defend their leader, he executes the quartermaster with a single shot to the chest. We were on the way, but alas, Connor reveals a decree offering pardons for capturing Bloody Mary, and he rallies his crew with promises of a new life. He questions if they are merely vagrants of the sea and demands their absolute loyalty to his violent cause. The pirates scream in unison, pledging their souls to the hunt. Meanwhile, Elizabeth tends to Ursel's wounds in the hidden cave, and she weeps while trying to stop the profuse bleeding. The mood shatters when Ursel admits that Bodin is dead, while elsewhere the pirates steel themselves for the dangerous raid. Despite the pain, Ursel knows their enemies are closing in, and Elizabeth asks if the terrible rumors about her are true. Ursel admits to her dark past without trying to hide it, so Elizabeth urges her to embrace that ruthlessness to save them. She hands Ursel a ledger, telling her to reclaim her power. Ursel explains that they must hold the caves until sunrise and refuses to flee, knowing Connor will hunt them forever. She strictly commands her children to follow every order, and the family turns the cave into a heavily armed fortress. Ursel teaches them how to distract and destroy the enemy, while the pirates discover the blood trail leading inside the tunnels. Connor orders his men to bring Ursel out, dead or alive, and Ursel tells Isaac to captain the boat if she falls, assuring her son that the sea is in his blood. A scout leads the pirates deeper into the dark passages where men shout orders while trying to navigate the gloomy maze. They unknowingly trigger a mechanism that disturbs the nesting bats, and Ursel watches from the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment. Chaos erupts as bullets rain down on the confused attackers, and small explosives detonate near their feet, creating panic. Musket fire exchanges in the dark as the pirates regroup until a massive explosion rocks the cavern, knocking men backward. The story continues as Ursel taunts her enemies to come and die. Then, she quietly orders the children to move along the wall. Scout suddenly ambushes them, laughing maniacally as he attacks, forcing Ursel to scream for Isaac to escape immediately. Isaac bangs on the door, desperate to find a way out, while a chaotic firefight erupts and echoes through the cavern. So Ursel stays behind to ensure they launch the boat. Scout corners Elizabeth, cruelly taunting her about her lost son, but he is swiftly killed before he can finish the deed. Confused spreads as the remaining pirates fire blindly in the dark until Captain Connor spots her target and shouts her name. He laughs at the destruction, stepping into the open and challenges her to settle their conflict like true buccaneers. Outside, the children notice that their escape plan has succeeded, but Ursel realizes the smoke signals have also worked. Connor ignores this, predicting Ursel's inevitable capture and execution, claiming his crew will be remembered as heroes for stopping her. They engage in a brutal duel, roaching with every blow, and the fight intensifies as Connor struggles against her attacks. Ursel gains the upper hand, mocking his pain with a sneer, while he cries out in agony as she strikes again. She demands that he yield, yet he stubbornly refuses, so Connor continues to fight, breathing heavily from exertion. Finally, she delivers a fatal strike between his ribs, and the last gunshots silence his threats forever. Both fighters are left gasping for breath in the aftermath until he collapses, whispering her name as he dies. Elizabeth quickly rushes back to check if Ursel can still survive, and Ursel thankfully acknowledges her as a real sister. With the danger gone, she reclaims her true name, Mayim. Thanks for watching this video. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Comment your thoughts below and subscribe to